Hi, everyone. It's Rose from the Great Awakening Generator. Welcome. Today, I have with me Kirsty Denny from Kirsty Marie Energy. Hello, Kirsty.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good.
That's good. Thank you
You
so
know.
much. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on it online with me. I want to say on air all the time because I do a radio show, so
Yeah.
this is the reason. So, yeah, thank you for coming today, as I was saying, and I am going to say the name again of your business. It's Kirsty Marie Energy.
Mhm.
And please tell us, well, I think we should ask for you to tell us first about you before you tell us about Kirsty Marie Energy. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Kirsty, and I guess I kind of accidentally um, took a segue into working with energy, like a lot of people. I initially trained as an ecologist because I love animals and nature, and so I thought maybe I'd want to work in conservation. And then I guess like a lot of people, I got interested in holistic health when I was feeling not so great, and the traditional uh, medicine and practitioners just weren't working for me. And so
Okay.
I started off being interested in diet and all these types of things and detox. And then the kind of missing piece of the puzzle for me was working with energy. So that's when I kind of looked to see how I could train in some kind of energetic modality. And then I started, and then I had a baby, and then I did a bit more, and then I had another baby. And how life goes. It's kind of like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So I'm a full-time homeschooling mother of two
Wonderful. Yeah.
amazing boys, and then
Yeah.
in my spare time, um, I'm a neurolinguistic kinesiologist. So that was the modality that I found that really spoke to me, um,
Okay.
and
Mm,
that's what I pursued. So
yeah. That was
mm,
going to be my next question. What is the energy work? And that's neurolinguistic kinesiology. That's what
mm,
it is, right?
it
So
is.
what is that then? It's a lot of words,
It's a lot of
and
words. It's a bit
it's a
of a
lot of
mouthful.
words, and
Yeah.
and I don't mean it in when I say it's a lot of words, it's big words, and obviously, I've heard of it. People call it NLP. Some people call it NLP. I've heard. Is that the same thing?
NLP is neuro-linguistic programming.
Ah,
Um, and so neuro-linguistic kinesiology brings into it some NLP concepts. So
okay.
that's where the neuro-linguistic part comes from. But
Okay, it connects there.
yeah, but
Okay.
kinesiology is just of course there's like classical kinesiology, which is just the study of muscle function, and that's this kind of more scientific mainstream version. And then um, often it's called applied kinesiology, is where you look at the flow of energy. And a muscle test is just a way to see how the energy is flowing through the muscle, through
Okay.
the energetic body, um, and connecting with, um, the subconscious mind, with your higher self, all those types of things. So the muscle test is about testing the flow of energy. It's not about testing the strength of your muscle, although you can use it to work
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
muscular system and your posture. Um,
Right.
yeah. Um,
Hmm.
so kinesiology means working with muscle testing, but there's lots of different types of kinesiology. And actually, um, the first kind of person I came across who was working with energy like this was Donna Eden. She's very famous. Probably lots of
Yes.
you know Donna Eden, and she
Yes.
was like, she's just like this beaming person. Everything is energy. And when
Yes.
I
Yes.
first saw her, I was kind of like, is she for real? Is anyone actually that happy and like perky? But very cynical. But yeah, then I looked into it and I was like, wow, it's really interesting, and I'd love to do her training. But there was no one doing her training in New Zealand, and so I found something which incorporates a lot of similar um, ways of working with energy and with muscle testing.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that's the neurolinguistic kinesiology. which is
Okay.
super holistic. It works with the base of it is touch for health, so that's part of it, where you work with different meridians and a kind of Chinese 5 elements way of balancing energy. And then as we said before, it brings in some elements of NLP, so ways of working with the way you think and the way you process. And then it brings in a whole bunch of other things as well, sort of, yeah.
So I hear the mind there when I hear the neuro thing. It's the way you think. Where's the linguistic involved in it?
It's the way you speak to yourself, the way you speak to others. The linguistic, it's like, you know, a lot of the time when we talk, we make generalizations without realizing it. Or, you know, we can speak in ways that are quite negative, all that type of thing.
Yeah.
So there's kind of, when I sit down with someone, there's kind of like a mini, almost counseling session at the beginning where we look at, you know, why are you here? What do you want to achieve? Where are you now? Where do you want to be?
Right.
Why do you think you're not where you want to be? And so that's where we look at a lot of those things around, you know, what stories are we telling ourselves consciously or subconsciously that are holding us back?
Yeah, that's playing a big role in our lives, isn't it? Preventing us or causing us to have no forward motion sometimes, or to live a life that's less than happy. The self-talk and the voice within the head that doesn't seem to shut up or continuously tells us how bad we are, or how that you cannot have that thing or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm quite fascinated with this because I mean I had Psyche, and you were saying to me earlier that Psyche is a type of kinesiology, right? So then you were saying so that must mean there's various types of kinesiology, or maybe 5, who knows?
There's a lot, a lot of different flavors. Yeah.
Okay. So how's this process work then? So if somebody came to see you, you'd have a consult with them, like you obviously would have to have a consult with them, right? And then you work out what they need, or how you progress. So how does that work in terms of, what I'm asking is, are you like a practitioner who gets people to sit in? I know they'll be sitting in a chair, but will they have to lie down and you do some physical movement in terms of energy, like move your hands around them? So explain that to us.
Yeah, so first we have the chat and set the context, maybe set some goals. Like, it's good to have some practical things to work towards. And then we'll go into the kind of energy session. So first of all, we get the hang of muscle testing, where that person can feel the flow of energy, and they can feel what we would call a lock or an unlock, so a strong muscle or a muscle that's giving way. And then I do some muscle testing around some things to find some things that are energetically not so in balance, and we hold those in context. And then we do some energetic things that are going to bring more balance back to the whole system holistically. And during that part of it, there's a whole range of things that we might work with. It could be, you know, acupressure points. It could be working with chakras. It could be nothing diagnostic, of course, but it could be a recommendation, energetically speaking, to do with lifestyle. So dietary changes, supplements,
right,
exercise. And then there's, you know, it varies from person to person, but a lot of the time, some of the really key things that come up are, you know, subconscious belief systems.
okay.
So work with those energetically. And, you know, sometimes, you know, being realistic, a lot of the time, these beliefs that we have that we take on when we're very young children, it's not realistic to be like, okay, we worked with this chakra and that belief is completely gone. in reality, it's probably going to come up again.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
feeling that it's going to come up again probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it's more about shifting the energy so it doesn't control you.
Yeah.
So you want to be empowered to be like, oh, there's that story I'm telling myself again, but it doesn't feel like it has so much power over me, and I'm focused over here on the things that I want to create and the way that I want to be living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find that people, that you just said something interesting now about that thing that's been bothering you for all this time? This is me paraphrasing, right? That you, even though you might do some work on it, it might still come back and you have to do more work on it. Look, there's all of us going through that. There isn't anyone I know that's not having to redo something. Thank you, God, for all the Mercury retrogrades we're having, because it brings it back if you haven't dealt with it in one way, right? But I think we're all having to deal with it. And I think, so it's almost like this process at the moment, and I speak not just in terms of kinesiology or neurolinguistic kinesiology, but the whole process that humanity is going through right now. It's almost like we do have to keep coming back and dealing with things so that we transform to that journey that we're taking to ourselves in the way that we do it, so that we don't have to come back here and deal with it again, or to this point, or to this life, to whatever in the next lifetime, right? So you're finding, well, I'm finding that's more, and I'm hearing that that's something that's very possible in your experience of this, as in your work. So whilst it's tedious, it's necessary, because if we're serious about doing the transformation and evolution to the next dimensions, then I guess we're going to have to do this, right? Yeah.
I think it's a lot to do with maybe authenticity. So it's that process of being just really honest with ourselves. Because you can get kind of like spiritual ego coming in, where you're like, oh, I'm just high vibing, I'm rising above it, and it's like, well, you can do that, but also you have to be honest, otherwise it's not going to work. So it's everything all at once, so you can be aware of these things that are coming up, the shadow, if you will. And at the same time, you're creating something better. But if you kind of lie to yourself about what's really going on with you, you'll be kind of stuck. So authenticity, it's like a simple word, but actually living that is that can be a challenge.
I think it's a lot about that sovereign being that we are, that we came onto the planet to be, and that in ignorance, we've been programmed, our ignorance, obviously, but also our parents, our teachers, the things that we've been taught. And so we're really trying to find the true self within us. What did I actually come here with? Because we came with a lot of knowledge, didn't we? Because of, well, I believe in past lives.
Me too.
And I think a lot of whatever we've been brought up with has delayed the process of that information coming to the forefront and finding ourselves and knowing exactly what it is we need to be doing, right?
Yes, it makes everything kind of fuzzy.
So go on. Sorry.
That's all right. As I say, that's I suppose those are the people that I'm actually most drawn to work with. It's not so much people who are like, oh, I've got a sore shoulder, It's people who are trying to really find out about their true authentic self and express it into the world. And it's, empowering people to do that.
You're very clear about it, aren't you? I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
And quite often, it can come up in my sessions. Stuff from past lives can come up. It doesn't always come up, like sometimes we fixate on past lives, but a lot of the time things that happened in past lives will also show up in this life. So we don't need to know about every single past life. That would just be, you'd be you'd go mad. You'd go
Yeah.
completely mad. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think the things that come up are the things we need to know. It comes up because we need to work with it. It comes up maybe because knowing that information will encourage us with whatever's happening in the current space, right?
Yeah. If it's relevant. Yeah.
This is why there's so many types of kinesiology, I think, and so many types of offerings right now on the planet where people are doing various things, unusual things, things we've never heard of before because of all this transformation that's going on. Now, I want to ask this. You said something about applied kinesiology. So like that's obviously like it's from the academic side, medical side, maybe clinical side. Is that right?
Applied kinesiology was actually the word used for the first types of kinesiology that was more about the energy.
Okay.
But it was kind of invented by a chiropractor.
Okay.
And so we started off working with physical function, and then he gradually realized, you know, like your thoughts affect that energy flow, your emotions affect it.
Yes. Yes.
And he kind of worked out the system, and lots of other things got built upon it. Yeah.
Okay. Who is the chiropractor? Do you know? Do you remember?
Yeah, George Goodhart was the guy that kind of set it rolling.
Okay.
And then there was John Fee worked with him, and he set up Touch for Health, which a lot of people will know about.
Okay.
And his idea with Touch for Health was to make it really accessible to the general public.
Okay.
To empower people to work with energy themselves. So that was and I love that, and I really want to empower people so they can work with energy themselves instead of giving your power away all the time. Like, someone heal me. It's like, no, it's always you. You're always healing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing that people have sessions with you and you give them tools to go away with and work on. And so it's you probably have more than one session with the person because depending on the individual, what they need. And then from that, you sort of, they go away and they do some work. So is my understanding correct?
Yeah. So people come, we have the session, and I do usually give people some exercises to do at home. You know, they can be working towards practical goals, but they might also be supported by some energetic techniques.
Okay.
Stuff they can easily do at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think from the higher perspective, we never want people to be completely dependent on us, and clearly that's how you work, because that's very, dare I say it, third dimensional, really, when someone sees a psychiatrist for 20 years, and you think, well, you know, and I'm not discounting it. I'm just saying there's got to be progression beyond that, where people don't have to have that kind of dependency on a practitioner.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's always kind of, I would say, even dangerous to put someone up on a pedestal because the power's in you. And sometimes it's really helpful to see someone else to give you an energetic boost to kind of help you catalyze that change and have a different perspective. But, you know, ultimately, the idea is to just be your own healer.
Yeah.
Always.
Be empowered. Know that you have all the answers for yourself. Do you need what kind of education qualification do you need, or academic qualification do you need to be doing what you're doing?
No, you just need to do, it's a fairly short course. So
Okay.
Probably, 18 months to 2 years in little installments. And you know, it's one of those things where you learn the basics and then you keep adding things to it, and you can do various different trainings. But I did years of academics, but it's nothing to do with what I do now, except that, of course, you always bring your life experience into
likewise
whatever you do.
I wonder where did all those years of education, going to university and, you know, working full-time and studying part-time, what I do all that for now? But I mean, it was necessary, it was relative and relevant at the time, but now it's different. We are changing the world, aren't we? We're creating a new earth, and so this is the new earth. The new earth means not sitting in front of my computer doing accounting work for 8 hours, you know.
Yeah,
every day.
definitely.
So I wanted, this is what comes to mind. So do you feel like kinesiology is a can, and because of you doing it from your perspective, which is, I feel there's an intuitive side, esoteric, intuitive
Yes.
side to it.
Mm.
Do you think this is one of the ways that um, science or the clinical side of things meets the esoteric?
Yeah, it can be. I mean, we're seeing all the time now, aren't we, all the different ways that the esoteric and the scientific are kind of coming
Yes,
together and converging. And I love that. I kind of love
absolutely.
speaking out on all that.
Yeah.
And you know, in the practical terms of how we live our lives day to day, it doesn't matter too much actually how much you
Yeah.
understand as long as you embody it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I do think it's all coming together, and
Yeah.
it's really fascinating.
It is quite. I really do. I love the teachings of Dr. Joe Dispenza. I don't know if you've heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yes, yeah.
And I always say he has really been out there to show how science and intuition, how that community that said they were separate all this time, actually, there's a lot of connection. There's a lot of connection between them.
Yes, nothing separate.
Yeah. So we're talking, and one of the questions I was going to ask was, so why do people need this? I almost feel like we answered it, but I would like you to try and tell me the answer anyway from your perspective. Why do people need this?
So, I think we're talking about intuition. This process of muscle testing, it's kind of just a really nice way of supporting your intuition, and gaining confidence in it. Because it's kind of like, when you're doing a muscle test, you feel the flow of energy, and you kind of get to know it after a while. You can actually feel it, and you can feel whether the muscle is going to lock or unlock. And so you can use it not to replace your intuition, but to support it and help you develop it. And what I really love it when people come to me and they start off, a little bit disempowered. They need someone to help them through things. But then as they go along, they are feeling the energy more and more. They're trusting their own intuition more and more. And ultimately they probably won't need to come and see me, or maybe just very infrequently. So gosh, that's a great marketing scam, isn't it? I'm like, please don't come and see me very often.
I think it's the best marketing strategy, because you're saying to people, I'm offering this thing to you and I'm helping you be independent, but I'm also making sure you're not dependent on me completely, because you are the creator of your own destiny, in the words of Abraham Hicks. And we are very creative beings. We have got amnesia about that. And now this whole process helps you to start taking those steps to create your own reality, to become your own healer, your own. And I mean, muscle testing, I feel like what you're saying is, if you did a muscle test and you felt something in it, that it's perhaps a block you have in your body, in the muscle. If you feel a block in the muscle, what is that related to? What is the body remembering? Why is there a block? Am I on the right track? I'm going down a rabbit hole that has nothing to do with this?
No, it's just an easy way of communicating with, I would say, with your higher self. And getting lots of information quite quickly about what's going on. With your soul, with your subconscious, and all those kinds of things.
The simplest muscle test that I know of, and I was doing something like that earlier, where I was standing and facing northeast, I think. And I was breathing, and then I was thinking and saying a word of maybe a food that I was checking with my body if it was good for it or not. And I understand that if you think about that food or you say the word, if your body moves forward,
Mm-hmm.
it's a yes. And if it moves backward, it's a like, no, don't do that. No.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So that,
This is a popular way of doing it. Yeah.
yeah.
It's like what are you drawn to and what kind of almost
What do you
repels
like?
you.
Get away from
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. And with muscle testing for yourself, there's lots of different ways of doing it, and different
Okay.
people will find different ways
Yes.
easier or more difficult. Yeah. And so
Okay.
yeah, actually this weekend I'm doing a little workshop where I'm just showing people the basics of muscle testing so they can muscle test their friends, their family,
Okay.
and they can learn to muscle test themselves.
Okay. So where's tell us about your workshop. Where is it?
It's at Beyond the Veil in Ellerslie, which is where I
right.
work out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just designed to be a really fun, empowering class. And it's the first time I'm running it, so if it's popular, I'll run it again. But it is. It's so you can use these skills yourself. So say you're shopping for food, you're choosing an essential oil, you're deciding maybe which crystal to work with. All these things you could muscle test for to aid your intuitive process.
Yeah, I'm so in tune with the ladies at Beyond the Veil, by the way. I have got a lot of connection to them. Imagine that. We don't even know each other prior to now. They haven't introduced me to you. And isn't it interesting?
Yeah.
Because the Starseeds Wisdom on this channel. And Carol Bird is an amazing lady. And I go to her for energy healing. So she's like awesome. And I just did something with Jackie Pounder. The last time I was there, I went to Jackie Pounder. But anyway, no, not to talk about Beyond the Veil now, but I mean,
no, it's all good. Yeah.
Beyond the Veil, everybody, that's where you can find Kirsty on the weekend. So if you got more spaces for people to come and join there.
I do have maybe 2 or 3 more spaces for this weekend's one if anyone wants to join in at the last minute. But
yeah. So anyway, now that we're at that point, tell us where people can contact you and whether to have an appointment with you or to come to this workshop on the weekend. Tell us that.
Yes, I am working out of Beyond the Veil, so you can find me under practitioners on their website, or I can be contacted directly via email or phone, and I'm sure we'll list those.
We will list those, and you know what? We'll also put the link to Beyond the Veil's website on this, and then you can find everybody. You can find Kirsty there. If you want to go and experience her flavor. And I think I think it'll be really beautiful to have that experience. And it's nice because, the muscle testing workshop, I think that's an amazing thing to be doing. Really empowering people, eh?
Should be a good day. And my friend's doing a sound bath in the afternoon.
Oh, wow.
So we're just feeling the energy, absorbing the sound energy. And then we're also going to do some spoon bending. So it's just, like muscle testing is a way of making the energy real. You can feel it. And then if you're working with, bending spoons, it's obviously not that useful in and of itself. Like we don't really need bent spoons, but it's just a really nice visual way of being like, look what happens when I direct my energy and work with my consciousness.
Okay. And
if I can do that, what else can I create? Back to that. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. All right. We're going to put all of that information in the description box and people can just get in touch with you via that. Really pleased. What a small world. I'm quite fascinated with this now.
We're resonant beings, aren't we? So
for sure. And do you have any Atlantean connections? Let me just ask out of interest.
I think I'm more Lemurian, but it's all, I'm sure it's all interconnected.
I think it's interconnected because I've always felt connected to Lemuria. And in the last,
we live a lot of lives. So.
We live a lot of lives. I've always felt connected to Lemuria, but I've started to see my Atlantean life in the last 6 weeks. So there's a reason for it. And part of it, I started to see it when I had Carol and Sophia talking to me about Starseeds Wisdom. It sort of happened right there whilst we were recording. So I had some intuition for them. Anyway,
Very cool.
right. So you've told us how to get in touch. Is there anything else that you want to tell us about that I have not asked you?
If you are still on Facebook, I am on Facebook. I'll try and spread some light in the world of Facebook, so you can find me there. Kirsty Denny or Kirsty Marie Energy. I am on there. What else? I guess maybe what else I want to share is you're talking about star seeds. And I think a lot of the people who come to me are star seeds.
Yes.
And, you know, like with the children today, a lot of them, you know, they might have labels. They might be ADHD, they might be autistic, they might be, we call it alphabet soup, you know, like
I know. Yes.
All of these things. And there's definitely challenges, but I think a lot of that is, you know, like they are these high vibrational beings and they're coming into this really kind of dense world, and it's a lot to work with. And yeah, they're the ones going to be co-creating their future with us. So I just kind of want to send some encouragement out there to all the parents and caretakers of these beings, because like I know personally sometimes it's pretty challenging, and it's also an incredible vehicle for growth. So yeah, they are amazing. And if you are their parent or caretaker, they've chosen you and you've chosen them, then it's for a reason. And you've got this, you know, you've got it. Yeah.
Wow. What can I say? But thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for bringing that to the forefront, because this is the thing. A lot of children that have got all these labels from the alphabet soup, they have come to do some amazing things on the planet. And like you were saying, because I was going to say that after you, if you're a parent of a child who's got a label like that, remember that this being from the highest realms who's got a high frequency actually chose you. So that must mean hello there. So that must mean that you have something to give to that child, that you have everything. You've come with everything here to be able to be the parent of this child. And what needs the first step in that is to look at the child and yourself and see what works for you two. Never mind what the rest of the world is saying and what the rest of the world's doing. You are individuals. It's the journey of sovereignty, and we are all sovereign, authentic beings. But your journey is maybe different from the norm. Well, it's not maybe, it is different. And find your journey. That's the most important thing. And you know, parents out there, I've got to tell you, there's a lot of support outside of the medical clinical realm. There's a lot of support.
Yes, definitely.
And we've just been speaking to Kirsty Denny here, who understands this and has got a huge compassionate heart for this. So there we go. I think it's very important. I can't remember where now. I think it's very important for parents who have children in this, you know, that are getting labeled from the alphabet soup, to recognize that it's a blessing. And whilst it might not seem like it, it's a blessing because of what we don't, it might not seem like it because of what we don't know. You know, but eventually you will find, and it's part of taking the journey. You guys have a contract here. You decided that you come here and this is how you're going to do it. A while back, I was listening to somebody, and I'm still trying to think who that was, that said something about, I think with children, one group of children, I'm not going to say any names and whatever, but one group of children that have an alphabets from the alphabet soup that have been deemed that the heart chakra is where the root chakra is. So the base is love. And that's an interesting concept. the base is where the root chakra is, that's where their heart chakra is. So it's a very different way of thinking, isn't it? Because we always like heart chakra is here in the chest, not where the root chakra is. So something to think about.
True. The
Yeah.
energy system can be kind of configured differently.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
something to think about.
Mm.
Well, anything else
And
you want to tell us before you go?
No, that's it. So yeah, I mean, if you are one of these people and you're having a challenging time with your children, I'd love to support you, because I know, like, I'm on that journey myself. And I think one of the reasons we choose each other is actually it's to resolve generational trauma. Like, if you think of all of the trauma that's come through all of your ancestors, and now is the time that it comes to the surface to be resolved. And so when you're doing that work as a parent, you're doing so much work. You're not just working with your child. It's going, as they say, 7 generations back, 7 generations forward.
Wow.
And it's
so profound, so profound what you just said now. It's so loaded what you just said now, because that's a reality check, isn't it? You just don't know the bigness or the vastness of the work you're doing when you're doing this with your child. I notice more parents who have got children like this. I'll say like this for want of other words. Children that are coming with this high vibration, with this coming here that is out of the programmed way of thinking about how children should be. They are starting to do more parents starting to homeschool. And I think that's one of the things parents should consider, if they find that's what they're in. Not all people can do that. I get it. It's quite a mind shift to say, well, I'm going to leave what I do in the mainstream and find something different, because it's actually pulling at the purse strings, not just the heartstrings, but the purse strings, isn't it?
Yeah.
Remember, this is also part of New Earth and setting the pace for New Earth. So any parent who's doing this, you are pace setters. And that's not to stroke the ego. That's to say that when you pioneer something, it's always going to have those things that come along that feel uncomfortable. You're going to come under the scrutiny of many, many things. But obedience to the, I shouldn't say obedience. I said obedience the other day and somebody said they don't like that word. But
my children certainly don't like that word.
And I don't know why obedience is in my vocab at the moment, because I don't usually say obedience. But the important thing is being in tune with your hearts and what you're being guided to do, I guess. Being in tune and aligned with the heart and the intuition. Yeah. And the soul's purpose.
Exactly. Many different paths to the heart, ultimately.
Absolutely. All right. So thank you so much, Kirsty.
Thanks. It's beautiful to talk to you today.
I'm transformed. Our conversation has transformed me. Please feel free to come back. And if there's anything you want me to share on the channel, I'm very happy to do it. So everyone, I will put all the information for Kirsty Denny, and Kirsty is from Kirsty Marie Energy. She does work out of Beyond the Veil. That's on Marua Road there in Mount Wellington or Ellerslie, one of them.
Yeah, it's kind of on the border.
They're on the border. It's on the border. And
Ellerslie,
she is
technically.
Yeah. And Kirsty, you're running your workshop on Saturday, is it?
Yes.
Just remind us. Yeah.
Yeah. And I may do more. And I do some kind of gathering circles in the evenings sometimes as well, because we need to support each other and connect.
Very much apt for this time. All right. So what time is your workshop on Saturday?
I think it starts at 9.
Okay.
I'll probably check. Yeah, it's the whole day. It's 9 till 4, because there's a lot in there.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So if you want to know anything more about the workshop that Kirsty is holding on Saturday at Beyond the Veil, then get in touch with her and I'll put all her details in the description box. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
as well.
Thank you.
Namaste. Well, thank you, everyone. And I'll catch you next time here on the Great Awakening Generator. Kirsty's just going to hold on with me, and I am going to say goodbye to all of you now. Bye-bye. Take care.